The top marine reptiles since the Triassic had been ichthyosaurs and plesiosaurs, but they were in decline when mosasaurs came onto the scene during the Cretaceous, leaving room for a new apex predator.
Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 greatest paleontology discoveries.
True to their name, which means fish lizards in Greek, the earliest ichthyosaurs looked much like lizards with fins.
The young play around the adults. Although these herbivores walk on 4 legs, Iguanodon can run on just 2.
Recent discoveries have shown that they were in fact relatively stiff. This allowed the plesiosaurs to stay streamlined while swimming or while hunting fish, squid, and clams.
For this list, we're looking at the greatest discoveries in the entire history of paleontology, the study of life that existed before and up to the current geological epoch, which began over 11,500 years ago. Let us know in the comments which extinct reptile is your favorite. Number 10. Intact Plesiosaur Skeleton. One of the most intriguing marine reptiles we've ever discovered is the plesiosaur. Not in the least because it's a creature often blamed for lake monster sightings, including the famous Loch Ness Monster.
But science tells a story of real-life monsters lurking in Earth's prehistoric seas. Monsters called plesiosaurs.
Given everything we know about Loch Ness, it's pretty much impossible that there's a long-lost plesiosaur colony living there, but that doesn't mean they're not interesting animals.
Plesiosaurs were massive animals. They grew up to 43 feet long, with large bodies and small triangular heads with smooth, sharp teeth.
A scientific discovery in the study of plesiosaurs came in 1994, when a mostly intact plesiosaur fossil was uncovered in oil fields in Alberta, Canada. The reptile was named Nicolcia borealis and was a major find, teaching us not only about the creatures themselves, but also about what North America was like 200 million years ago.
But today, they continue to be points of fascination, inspiring legends as grand as the monsters themselves.
Number 9. Brachylophosaurus. These 30-foot herbivores were also found in North America back in the 50s, though one of the best specimens was found mummified in Montana in the year 2000.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It was so important it even got a name, Leonardo, along with a handful of other promising specimens given names like Elvis and Peanut over the years. This discovery was important because of how Leo's body was preserved. It was one of our few examples of dinosaur muscles and tissues.
This is a lawnmower. This is a sharp-edged beak for cropping tough plants. Not water plants, not something in the mud, but something growing with bark and hard wood.
We also have fossilized internal organs and even stomach contents, giving us more insight than usual into what dinosaurs ate. It's an exceptionally valuable fossil, and as science develops, the more we'll learn.
This is part of the signaling apparatus. This is a message that other duckbills would read that says, "I'm nearly adult."
Number 8. Diplodocus.
These are Diplodocus, heading for a nesting site to the south. It is a grim journey for these mighty creatures, and the heat and lack of drinking water weeds out the weaker animals.
It's now one of the most iconic dinosaurs to ever roam the Earth, thanks in no small part to that scene in Jurassic Park. And it was one of the earliest dinosaurs to be discovered and named. The first fossils were found way back in 1877 in the Morrison Formation, better known today as the American Midwest. Its discovery taught us a lot about how huge dinosaurs were able to grow, as well as getting us wondering how they were able to get to this size.
From the bones that were found, we've calculated that Argentinosaurus was a colossal 35 meters long and weighed as much as 75 tons.
The answer is that the Earth used to be a lot warmer, which enabled cold-blooded reptiles to get to larger sizes than the reptiles and birds living today.
And it will be millions of years before new dinosaur herbivores evolve to replace them.
Number 7. Fighting dinosaurs. We don't often find dinosaurs in interesting poses. They've been dead for millions of years and die in a variety of ways. But in 1971, out in the isolated wilderness of the Gobi Desert, we found 2 fossils locked together in an endless brawl. A velociraptor was going toe-to-toe with a protoceratops, and it seems like the protoceratops was winning. That is, before they both died simultaneously. Paleontologists have a few theories on how the dinosaurs perished like this. The leading hypothesis is that a sand dune fell on top of them, and they were crushed, frozen in time. Whatever happened, it's an incredible fossil, and you can see casts of it in different museums today. Number 6. Archaeopteryx. For a while, it was very unclear what happened to the dinosaurs. Today, our best theories are that they eventually evolved into much smaller animals like birds and reptiles. Prehistoric crocodiles are remarkably similar to their ancestors after all.
So, whatever happened to these lucky few?
But we only came to accept this theory after the discovery of the Archaeopteryx, a small dinosaur that seemed to be part lizard and part bird. It had wings and a beak, but was still distinctly dinosaur-like in its appearance. It paved the way to make sense of later discoveries, like that of a feathery dinosaur tail preserved in amber. And now we're pretty sure that far from being scaly lizards, many dinosaurs did have feathers.
Archaeopteryx was certainly no acrobat, but it had feathers, and it could fly.
Number 5. Childbirth.
While dinosaurs roamed the earth and pterosaurs ruled the sky, sea monsters called ichthyosaurs dominated the world's oceans.
You may take it as a given that dinosaurs and the marine reptiles we've been talking about laid eggs. But in 2011, another frozen-in-time fossil was found. This one of an aquatic ichthyosaur in the middle of live birth in China.
And thanks to a fossil of a female found in China with embryos still intact, we know that it gave birth to live young, like all ichthyosaurs did.
Now, we have found plenty of reptile egg fossils, and even a nest of young dinosaurs in Mongolia. But the discovery of a live-bearing extinct marine reptile is a game changer. And it's not totally unheard of. There are many modern reptiles that also have live births, including every single species of boa.
Not all snakes lay their eggs. In some species, the female retains them within her body until they're ready to hatch. So she gives birth to live young.
Because of the rarity of finding a fossil in the middle of giving birth, there's no telling how many more live-bearing reptiles might have existed. Number 4. Iguanodon.
Below him, a column of iguanodons stretches along a beach, grazing the edge of a dense forest. 1,000 tons of dinosaur are on the move.
Another well-known and popular dinosaur is the iguanodon, so named because influential paleontologist Georges Cuvier noticed similarities between the dinosaur's teeth and those of a modern iguana, though it was the man who discovered the fossil, Gideon Mantell, who truly christened it. That was all the way back in 1825, and it took Mantell a few years to convince scientists of the legitimacy of his discovery.
When these animals were first discovered, they didn't have complete skeletons, and they thought that this thumb spike was actually supposed to be put on the nose of the animals, much like rhinoceros iguanas that we have today.
He ultimately did, of course, and now we know more about the iguanodon than many other reptiles.
Most dinosaurs can only crudely slice food with their teeth, but iguanodon are the first herbivores to have back teeth that can grind up vegetation before swallowing.
It was a large herbivore and remains one of the most significant dinosaur finds in Europe, though it lived on many continents. Number 3. Megalosaurus. Which dinosaur's name literally translates to giant lizard? Megalosaurus, of course, which has that on-the-nose name thanks to it being the first dinosaur ever identified.
This was a big predator, and it would have been living in Oxfordshire around about 167 million years ago.
Like the iguanodon, Megalosaurus fossils were also found in the UK 2 centuries ago in 1824. The exact fossil was a large jawbone segment, complete with enormous deadly teeth, that was nothing like any living creature.
Megalosaurus was the largest theropod or meat-eating dinosaur of its time.
But the Megalosaurus isn't as well known as other dinosaurs simply because we've never found a complete fossil. We have a pretty good idea of what it looked like. but it's not quite entered the public consciousness. Still, it's impossible to understate the significance of the world's first dinosaur.
Megalosaurus may have run at over 20 miles an hour, as fast as a charging brown bear, but 4 times the size.
Number 2. Mass extinction. One of the earliest people to speculate about a mass extinction was once again Georges Cuvier, the influential scientist that he was. He did this by comparing elephants and woolly mammoths, proving for the first time in 1796 that there were the remains of extinct animals on Earth. Hundreds of years later, and we got the Alvarez hypothesis, the now widely accepted idea that one huge event caused the mass extinction of the dinosaurs some 65 million years ago. This happened in 1980, posited by Luis and Walter Alvarez. And though it was baffling at the time to imagine an asteroid wiping out life on Earth, we found plenty of evidence to back it up.
Just hours ago, North America was a dinosaur paradise. Now, it's a living hell.
Before we unveil our top pick, here are some honorable mentions. Acylsaurus. The discovery of this fossil changed our understanding of when extinct archosaurs lived. Utyrannus. Named in 2012, this beast was conclusive proof that dinosaurs had feathers. Deinonychus. Another piece of evidence that modern birds were once giant reptiles. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Mosasaurus.
During the Cretaceous period, mosasaurs were among the ocean's most fearsome and successful predators.
The discovery of reptile bones thousands of years ago may have fueled belief in scaly monsters, namely dragons. The Mosasaurus was an enormous ocean-dwelling reptile, first excavated in Europe in the 1780s, and it was truly a monster.
Mosasaur size varied greatly. 2 of the largest mosasaurs were Mosasaurus and Tylosaurus. Each stretched 30 to 50 feet, longer than a T-Rex.
It could grow up to 56 feet long, making it a similar size to the world's largest shark, the whale shark, and was carnivorous, which you can tell by just looking at its enormous teeth and jaws. It shares many biological similarities to the carnivorous lizard known as the Komodo dragon, the world's largest living lizard and one of the most venomous.
While it's not known whether they died off instantly or gradually, one thing is for certain. The ocean has never again seen marine reptiles as massive and as great as mosasaurs.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.